go live yesterday. I know I had it scheduled for then, but just had a few too many things going on. But wanted to go live today and recap a little bit about what we talked about on Sunday because I thought, what God had for us Sunday was of great importance for us. I think in the church, when we view ourselves as a family, when we draw close into relationships, we can experience a lot of tension at times, and so it if left unattended, our relationships can end with a lot of unforgiveness. And so it's why I believe we must be experts on forgiveness as believers, and we must learn how to address things, just like that threefold thing we've been talking about, that things are fully acknowledged. We have to be able to address things with people and say, hey, this is bothering me. You did this, and it bothered me. And address that however, you need to address that, and then go through a healing process of forgiveness and then releasing it and saying, this isn't going to affect our relationship in a negative way moving forward. And if it continues to affect your relationship with somebody, if when you think of them or you're around them, it affects the way that you interact with them in a negative way, then it's not been fully released. And so you have to backtrack. If it's not been fully released, has it been fully healed? If it's not been fully healed, then maybe you never fully acknowledged what it was. And so I encourage you to really go through those processes when you sense there may be something going on between you and another person that's part of our church or part of me, even part of another church, or just any relationship you have. If there's unforgiveness, it's going to breed bitterness. And so we must, as the author of Hebrews says, leave the weight of bitterness behind so we can keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. And so I believe if we become experts at that, we will have a much healthier family as we continue to move forward in our church family relationships. As we look around the church, hopefully we're starting to see different people, and we will engage them in relationship, that we would have these deep relationships. I mean, if you have no unforgiveness, but it's because you have no deep relationships in the church, that's a problem all on its own. So I do encourage you to search your heart, ask God to search your heart, and to reveal anything in you, any root of bitterness that might be there. And remember, it's not about your ability to forgive. So you might be left in a situation where you're like, I cannot forgive that person. That's okay, and that might be a reality, but it's not your job to forgive them with your forgiveness. It's the love of Christ flowing through you to that person, to that individual or group of people, whatever that is, so they can be forgiven. And withholding forgiveness, we didn't really cover this a lot on Sunday, but withholding forgiveness, and I've seen people do that thinking that they're harming the other person, like they're holding their account, hostage, and they're refusing to let it go. That doesn't hurt the other person. That doesn't affect them. That only affects you. And I love the saying I've heard many times, having unforgiveness or withholding forgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. It doesn't work that way. Unforgiveness is only poisonous to ourselves, but that poison will work its way out to others around us. That's my doorbell. Mute that. It will work its way out to those around us like a cancer. I mean, it does affect those around us, like we talked about on Sunday. And so I hope you will take those things seriously and really address any root of bitterness in you. That's how we kind of finished our time together on Sunday, is really just with that question of where is there a root of bitterness in your life? Many of us probably have one. Something that we haven't addressed, something that we haven't dealt with, something we need to go back and have another conversation about. And what are you going to do about it? I mean, that really is the crux of the entire thing, is you can acknowledge there's a root of bitterness. You can acknowledge that there's unforgiveness in your life. But if you don't do anything about it, what have you gained? You've not gained anything. So do something about it. Ask the Lord, what that path looks like, what forgiveness looks like in that situation, and begin to follow him in that path of forgiveness. And watch how a weight comes off of your shoulders, and you end up in a healthier spot. Even if you never even talk to the person that you were withholding forgiveness from, because maybe that's not part of the journey. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. But you will end up in a healthier place because of it. So I hope you'll do that. I hope you will faithfully go after those things, and offer forgiveness where it's needed, and be healed yourself in that process. I don't think that I have anything else from Sunday. So we sorry, we covered the bitterness concept on Sunday. This Sunday, we're going to be continuing in our series, and I'll be covering some more things this coming Sunday. Hope you can make it there at 10:30 a.m. Looking at the calendar, we have the night of worship coming up in 2 days on the 18th there in the Fellowship Hall. So that's at 5 p.m. If you want to join us for the night of worship, I encourage you to do that. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I don't think I see anything else on the calendar. Guys, we have the Cornhole event next Saturday on the 25th. We'll meet at the church around 9:15. So if you are interested in that, make sure you let us know. Don't just show up. Because we need to know what vehicle we're going to need to drive down there. So please do let us know if you're interested in that. It's going to be a fun day. But I think that's everything. I hope this series is speaking to you. I hope you are seriously evaluating anything that could be considered a weight. By no means are the topics we're going to cover an exhaustive list of all that we need to address and cover. But I think there are some of the big items that are really holding us back. I think these are things corporately that we need to address because they exist in our church family. And so maybe God puts his finger on another weight and identifies that in your life. Deal with it. Do something about it. Seek his face, hand it to him, and walk away from it and do exactly what Paul's talking about, forgetting what lies behind, not allowing that to have any power over your present or your future ever again. Well, I hope you can join us 10:30 Sunday as we continue this series, and I hope between now and then, God blesses you and he reveals himself to you and you spend some sweet time with him and in his presence. Be blessed.